Hello, children. It is me, Mr. Malzberger. I'm here to talk to you today about more probability. Today, we are going to look at the bag of marbles. Okay, I actually have a bag to use for such a demonstration. Here's my bag. Ooh, isn't it exciting? Got this at the Renaissance Fair when I was a kid. Anyways, I don't actually have marbles, but I do have dice. And here we go. We're going to show you what I've got. I've got 3 blue dice. You're like, wait, those are dice? And I'll say, yep, these are multi-sided dice used for dicing games such as Dungeons and Dragons and all those extended dice games. There's a ton of them. Let's see. I've got 4 of the greens right there. I've got 5 reds, and then let's see how many whites I have. I have a lot of white dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10 dice right here for you to look at. All right. So now, here is the concept of the bag of marbles. The bag of marbles, of course, is a simple bag full of marbles. In this case, it is multicolored dice. I'm going to fill the bag with the dice. And then I'm going to ask you, hey, what do you think the likelihood is of me picking one of the given colors? It's going to be a fraction. Now, first thing I want you to do is I want you to think, if I put all these marbles, or dice, in this bag, and I was able to reach in, let's say, with tongs, so I couldn't feel the difference. If everything was square, it'd be more equitable, but I've got 8-sided die and 10-sided die, so let's just say I can't feel the difference. Which color is the one I'm most likely to pick? Say it out loud. Now, why do you think that's the color that I'm most likely to pick? You should say that out loud as well. Hopefully you answered white, because that's what there's the most of. So I'm most likely to pick a white die because there's more white die than there are blue dies, more white than green, more white than red. Now, of course, there are more red, green, and blue dice than white, so it's more likely that I don't pick a white overall, because there's different colors, but of each color, this is the one I'm most likely to pick because I have the most of them. Okay? So here, let's take a trial run. I don't have tongs. We're going to throw these in here, and we'll have a fun little game where I pull out colorful dice, and you say, oh my gosh, that is the most stimulating math I've ever seen. This one here is a 4-sided die. Ever seen one of those? It's a triangular-based pyramid. 4 sides, all equal. Crazy. All right, so shake it all up, and then I'm gonna reach in here. I'm just gonna grab the first thing I grab, and I got this thing, and oh my gosh, it was white. So I matched what I thought we'd get. All right, let's throw it back in, shake it up again, see what I get for the second pick. All right, I wish one of you could come up and grab one for me. I got a blue. Far less likely. Okay, let's do it one more time just for fun. Shake up that bag, reach in deep and grab whatever this is. It is red. All right. That's the concept of a bag of marbles, is you're reaching in. Now, I'm going to pour these out one more time. We're going to look at their numbers again. I'm going to sort them. Go back to kindergarten. Sort your stuff. Doesn't take very long. All right, here we go. Dust in that bag. Anyways, I've got 5 red, 3 blue, and 4 green. So I'm going to write that down. I've got 5 red. I've got 3 blue. I've got 4 green. And what I say, I had 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 white. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put these all back in the bag. And we're going to look at some of the problems that we're going to get for the bag of marbles. Oh man, all kinds of dust in there. Gross. Anyways, here we go. First thing you always want to do when you're doing one of these problems is figure out the total marbles in the bag. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And 12 plus 10 is 22. Now sometimes I like to double check because if you get this wrong, it messes everything up. 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. And 17 plus 5 is 22. So 22 is my denominator, is my total number of marbles. Okay. So if I was to ask, what's the chance of picking a white marble, which was what we did first. I did pick a white marble. There are 10 white marbles overall. That will be your numerator. The amount of things that can happen that would match what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the color white. There are 10 white marbles in that bag. So there's 10 chances out of how many? 22 inside there. So this, of course, being a fraction, we can simplify it. Both 10 and 22 are even. So dividing by 2, it simplifies down to 5 out of 11. So there's a 5 out of 11 chance that I would get a white marble. And if I did the math on it and divided 5 by 11, I get 0.45454545 forever and ever. So that's 45% chance. There's a 45% chance, 45.5% chance that I would get a white one. Now the second one I picked was a blue, wasn't it? It was blue. So what's the chance of picking a blue? Well, there's only 3 blue. So there's only 3 chances I could get one out of the total of 22. 3 is prime and doesn't divide evenly into 22, so I don't even simplify as 3 out of 22. What would be that percent chance? I'm just curious. That's not very big. 3 divided by 22 is 13.5, 13.6% chance of getting a blue. And of course, I picked red last, right? There were 5 red out of 22. Again, doesn't simplify and doesn't divide evenly. So that's going to be closer to like 20%. No, something like that. Let's see. 5 divided by 22 is 22.7%. You don't have to do this and divide it. I'm just showing you that, of course, we can look at probability through percentages or fractions. I'll take either or. Fractions are more exact, as you can see when you divide 5 by 22, you get 0.227272727272 forever and ever and ever. So it's not quite exact. Let's see. That's all the colors, but I didn't check for green. Let's see. So for D, let's see, what's the chance of pulling a green marble out of this bag? Well, there's 4 green marbles in the bag of 22. So it's 4 out of 22, both even, so I can divide them in half and get 2 out of 11. And that's going to be somewhere around 20, a little over 20%, or around 20%. A little under probably. And let's see, 2 divided by 11 is going to be, well, that was 2 divided by 1. Yeah, 0.18181818, so 18%. There's other things I could ask, like I could say, what's the chance of not picking white? So what that does is the denominator, of course, there's only 22 marbles. So not picking white, there's 10 white marbles, so I take the 10 away from the 22. That leaves me with 12 other marbles, the 5 red, the 3 blue, and the 4 green. There are 12 non-white marbles in the bag. So there's a 12 out of 22 chance. Of course, I can divide this by 2 again and get 6 out of 11, which is a little over 50%. So, like I said before, when we were looking at the marbles, there's more non-white, so that's the higher odds. Because white was 5 out of 11, so non-white is 6 out of 11. I could do either ors as well. I could do, let's say, red or blue. So either or, right? So red and the blue, there's 8 of them there. Out of the 22, simplify again down to 4 out of 11. Here's a great question. What's the chance of me pulling a purple? That's right. There is no purple, so there's no chance. It's impossible. Can't do it. There are no purple marbles in there. So that's the basic concept of the bag of marbles. You total up how many marbles are in the bag. The fractions always have the total on the bottom, and what you're looking for on top. If it's just a single color, it's easy. If it's a combination, you add. If it's excluding one color, you add the rest of them. So I have 2 questions here. Well, more like 9 questions total. The bag of probability practice. So pause the video now, work out these 9 problems, and then we'll start back up and I'll check them with you. Okay, you have finished the bag of probability practice. So here we go. First thing we need to do is look at a total. I've got 5 green in number 1, 7 yellow, and 8 purple. 7 and 8 make 15, plus 5 is 20. So I've got 20 total marbles. Okay, picking a green marble. Well, there's 5 green out of those 20. I can divide them both by 5, so that simplifies down to 1 over 4, or a 25% chance of picking a green. Picking a yellow marble, there's 7 yellow marbles out of the 20. That cannot be simplified. It's going to be about 35%. Actually, it's exactly 35%. I know that because if I multiply 20 by 5, I get to 100. So 7 times 5 is 35. Not picking a purple marble means I'm excluding the 8, leaving these 2, 5 and 7, to make 12 out of the 20, which simplifies down to, I can divide by 2, 6 over 10, or I can divide by 4, 3 over 5. If I did the 2, I just have to simplify the 6 over 10 one more time. 6 over 10 tells me it's 60% chance of not picking a purple marble. So what's the chance of picking a purple marble? That is 8 out of 20. I can divide those by 4, and that's going to get me 2 out of 5, which is 4 out of 10, so that's a 40% chance of picking a purple marble. Number 2, we had 4 different colors here, blue, white, orange, and red. 6 and 8 make 14. 14 plus 9 is 23, and 23 plus 7 is 30, so there's a total of 30. Okay, picking a blue marble, that's 6 out of the 30. Divide by 6, and you get 1 out of 5, 1/5. That'd be a 20% chance. Picking an orange marble, that's 9 out of the 30. I can divide that by 3, and I get 3 out of 10 for a 30% chance of getting an orange marble. Not picking white. Well, there's 8 white, so I can either subtract 8 from 30 for 22, or add 6 and 9 for 15, plus 7 is 22. There's 22 non-white marbles out of the 30. You can cut those both in half for 11 out of 15. It's going to be around like 68, 69%. Picking a red or a blue. There are 6 blue and 7 red for 13 out of the 30. That does not simplify. I'm picking a yellow marble. Well, there are no yellow marbles, so that's 0 out of 30. Not possible. No solution. No. Not gonna happen. Okay. Moving right along. Okay. So that's just drawing one marble at a time. But what happens if I want to pick 2 marbles? Well, first we're going to start with something called replacement. Well, this is all we're going to do for this lesson. So replacement. This is for picking more than 1 marble. Okay, so let's go back to our original marble set. In my actual bag, if you remember, we had so much dust from that bag. 5 red, 3 blue, 4 green, and 10 white. Okay, so let's say we're picking 2 marbles. The concept of replacement is this. I reach into the bag, pull out 1 marble. It's blue. Now for my second pick, I don't leave this out. I replace it into the bag, so the amount of marbles inside the bag never changes. There's still going to be 3 blue. There's still going to be 22 marbles total. So I pick a blue one first, I reach back in, and I pull out a white. So let's look at what that would actually be. So the odds of picking that blue first, there's 3 blue out of the 22 marbles. And then I picked a white. And that's 10 out of the 22. So the odds of that actually happening, you take the 2 fractions and you multiply them together. If you forgot how to multiply fractions, it's just straight across the top, numerator times numerator, and straight across the bottom, denominator times denominator. So 3 times 10 is 30. And 22 times 22, I really don't want to do. It's like 4, and it's a fun number, if I remember. If there's something cool about it. 22 times 22 is 484. That's what it is. 484. Of course, that can be simplified. I can divide it in half because it's even, and you get 15 out of 242. That's the odds of doing what I just did, pulling out a blue, then a white. Is 15 out of 242 different possible combinations I could pick. Let's do it again and see what I get and find out the odds of what I actually pick occurring. Okay. Alright, this is the first thing I grabbed. It's a white. I'm going to put the white back in, dig around, I pull out a red. Okay, so white then red. Let's check out the odds of a white being pulled first and then a red second. Well, there's 10 white out of the 22, and there are 5 red out of the 22. 10 times 5 is 50, and we know 22 times 22 is 484. Again, we can cut this in half down to 25 out of 242. Cool. So that's replacement. Let's do another one where I actually do it, and we'll see what happens, and then I'll try something else. What's this? Ooh, I pulled out that same red. How did that happen? Let's dig deeper. And what's this thing I got here? Another red. So 2 reds in a row. Okay, so a red followed by a red. Well, the first red is 5 out of 22, and the second red is 5 out of 22. So 5 times 5 is 25, and we know 22 times 22 is 484. That cannot be simplified because that can only be divisible by 5. Now, let me just make one up. If I look up here and I say, what's the chance of not picking white twice? Okay. So there are 5, 8, there's 12 non-whites. So that would be 12 out of the 22, right? And then the second pick, there'd still be 12 because I'd replace the first one. out of 22. Again, multiplying straight across the top and bottom, I get 144 and 484. And this looks grossly able to be divided by 4. 4 goes into, I should know this, what is it, 36? Yeah. 4 goes in 144 36 times. And this looks like it goes in 1, 2, 1. No longer even, not divisible by 3, so that looks like the odds for not picking a white twice. All right, so that's with replacement. I have a practice for you that you're going to do now. This is the with replacement practice. I'm going to slide this over so you can see it better. I'm going to let you, there's 4 questions for each situation. There are the marbles. For the first one, you're pulling out 2 marbles. And for the second question, you're pulling out 3 marbles. So that's going to be 3 fractions in a row multiplied. It's going to be a little tricky. Pause the video now, and then we'll get to that. Okay, you should be done now. Here we go. With replacement practice, first thing I'm going to do is find out my total. I have 4 clear marble, 6 tiger eye, and 2 black. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 2 is 12, so my total is 12. 2 tiger eyes. Well, there's 6 tiger eyes. That's half of them, so that's going to be 6 over 12 times 6 over 12, but it's really 1/2 times 1/2. So it's 36 out of 144, and I know that's 1/4 because it's really 1/2 times 1/2. Clear, then black. Clear is 4 out of 12, which is really 1/3, and then black is 2 out of 12. So that's going to be 4 times 2 is 8, and 12 times 12 is 144. And I know that 144 divided by 4, because I just did this in the practices, is 36. And I can divide 8 by 4 and get 2. Oh my god, I can divide one more time by 2 and get 1 out of 18 is my simplified answer. Ugh, I missed the calculators at school that would simplify fractions for you. What I could have done is 1/3 times 1/6. Maybe that's the thing to do. The 2 black, each one's going to be 2 over 12. So I'm going to simplify first and do 1/6 times 1/6. Doesn't that seem a lot easier? Yeah, let's just do that. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 6 times 6 is 36. 1 out of 36 for the black. Not black twice. Well, that's 10 out of 12 twice. That simplifies down to 5 out of 6. So let's do 5 out of 6 times 5 out of 6. Which is 25 out of 36. If you did 10 12 times 10 is 12, so you would get 100 out of 144. So that's what you get, 100 out of 144. If you cut it in half, it's 50 out of 72. Cut it in half again, you get to 25 out of 36. Number 2, bag of marbles has 3 green, 5 blue, 6 red, 4 yellow. That makes 10, 15, 18 total marbles. I'm going to try this right now. Let's see. Green is 3 out of 18, so that's 1 out of 6. Blue is just 5 out of 18. There's nothing you can do there. Red, though, is 6 out of 18, which is 1/3. And yellow is 4 out of 18, which is 2 out of 9. That's going to make my multiplying easier. Blue, then red, then green. So blue, I said, was 5 out of 18. Well, that's gross. Red is 1/3. And green was, no, where's green? 1/6. Oh, that's not so bad. So 5 times 1 times 1 is just 5. And then 18 times 3 times 6 is really 18 times 18. Ew, I should know this. It's like 324. It is 324, I bet. Let's see. 18 times 18 is 324. Everyone say, woo, Malzberger. Because that's a perfect square. 3 red. Each red is 1/3. So 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. Now, of course, if you did 6 out of 18 times 6 out of 18 times 6 out of 18, you're going to get a very different number. This is just 1 out of 27. If you did 6 out of 18 3 times, you get a really big number. That's going to be 216 over 5832. I didn't tell you to simplify first. I'm just saying now that it seems like it's going to be easier for these triple ones. Not green or blue 3 times. So not green or blue means red or yellow. So that's 10 out of the 18. I can simplify that down to 5 out of 9. Let's just do 10 out of 18 3 times. So I already know 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000. Since I just did 18 3 times, is 5832. That's fine. Now I know I can divide by 2, 1, 2, 3 times. So I can divide by 8. Yeah. So 5, because that's 2 times 2 times 2. So 5832 divided by 8 is 729. And then 1,000 divided by 8 is 125. Okay. Last question. A primary color each time. Well, primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So red, blue, and yellow. So it means not green, basically. So that's going to be 10, 15 out of 18 each time. That's some big numbers. Simplifying it would be so much easier if you did that ahead of time. So you divide by 3 and you get 5 over 6 times 5 over 6 times 5 over 6. I can do that in my head. That's 36. That's 180 plus 36, which is 216. That's 25. That's 125. That's your simplified answer. Your unsimplified answer is that 5832 again, and 15 times 15 times 15 is 3375. Oops, 3375. Okay, there is your solutions to those 2 wonderful problems. Your last piece, of course, is going to be an online homework. It's going to be 3 different questions. There it is right there. And, of course, that's going to be on the assignment, so you can just download it, print it, take a picture, do it on a separate piece of paper. Whatever you need to do, show me some work, please. Show me the fractions, okay? Thank you very much, and have a great day.